getting into Madrid was fine. From the plane, basically, I think I forgot the name of the airport, Adolfo, something like that. I think um, you can see the Bernabeu. So Real Madrid in general it, they are the club. Do you know what I mean? Like Arsene Wenger said it. That's the club of his dreams. So that the white kits, everything like that. But the fact that when you're flying in from the airport, you can see the stadium. You can't see Atletico Stadium, to my mind, but you can see the Real Madrid Stadium. Lets you know exactly what you're in for. Like you're coming to the Lions Den straight up and
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This one is a special edition that we hope doesn't veer into the neighborhood of extreme navel gazing. But
down.
Coach was lucky enough to witness Arsenal's historic 2-1 away win at the Bernabeu, and we figured, you know what? It's not every day that Arsenal fans get to go to Madrid and hang out at the Bernabeu and win the game and have a great experience. So we figured he needs to share that with everybody. He did his little whatchamacallit, instant review from a chicken shop after the game that
Kebab.
lasted. Well, kebab shop. Oh, my bad. Ooh. Yeah, a kebab shop after the game, which lasted a grand total of 3.5 minutes, and I know that was not enough for anybody because I know it wasn't enough for me. So I've dragged this motherfucker back onto the pod to talk about his general experience. So, Coach, first things first, how are you doing? I can see the smile. You're still happy. You're still buzzing. But how else are you doing?
To be honest, it's been a great week, man. It's just been a great week. In England, obviously, this whole week is a short week anyway, and next week is a short week as well because of the Easter break. So, I worked Monday, and then I was off. Literally, I've been off since Monday basically, and it's just been one long weekend since Tuesday. So I'm doing good, man. Like, didn't get much sleep out in Spain, but honestly, that was genuinely the least of my worries. Like, I couldn't give a shit. Like, you can sleep another time, man. So,
You
so
can
yeah,
sleep when you die.
basically, yeah,
And that will not be for a while.
yeah.
So take your time with it. But before we get into this trip, I
Yeah.
just wanted to jump back to 19 years ago when Arsenal
Mm.
did a less emphatic but just as iconic version of this when there was a 0-0 draw at, I believe, it was Highbury at the time.
Yeah, that was the second leg. Funny enough, the first leg was at Bernabeu.
The first leg was at Bernabeu?
Yeah, yeah,
I completely misremembered that. In my
yeah.
head, the first leg was at Highbury 0-0, and the
Nah,
second leg was at the Bernabeu 1-0.
yeah. I'm sure we watched the second leg a million times. Yeah, but that's to me still the best 0-0 at least Arsenal have ever been involved in. But it might be the best 0-0 I've ever seen. It was both teams did not respect each other and just wanted to kill each other. It was a great game, man.
Well, Arsenal doesn't play on Saturday, so
Yeah,
that might be my Saturday plan right there.
yeah,
So we'll see. It's been a while since I watched that.
yeah.
Maybe never, to be honest with you. But you clearly have a better memory
Mm,
from 19 years ago than I do.
mm.
So I just wanted to ask you, like, what do you remember of that first tie from back in the day where Arsenal won 1-0 and Thierry Henry scored that iconic goal?
Um, First of all of my non-Arsenal friends, and to be fair, some of my Arsenal friends were like, "Oh, you're getting battered. Like it's Real Madrid. What Zidane? What R9?" And I'm just like, I watch La Liga every week. This isn't the Real Madrid you guys think. It hasn't been a Real Madrid you guys think. Probably put it that version of Real Madrid is one of the worst versions of Real Madrid we've seen in our lifetimes. To be frank, right?
Yep.
All they saw was the white shirts and the Galacticos this and Galacticos that. But I was just like, do you know what? Henri can kill these guys. That was in my head. I wasn't really thinking about Hairband, Fabric. I was like, Henri can do it. Henri is enough for these guys. That's what I kept on thinking because to me, in my young, I don't know how old was that, 16-year-old mind or whatever, I was like, he's the best player in the world. Like he's the best. Like I was just, maybe deluded, maybe I was right, I don't know, but I was just so confident. Like, yeah, Henri will be enough. Henri will be enough, kind of thing. I wasn't thinking about Flamini playing left back and all that rubbish. You know what I mean? I was just obsessed with Henri digging us out of a hole, and he did. That was pretty much it. The whole sort of like build up on ITV and stuff like that. Like they were quite complimentary of us. To be fair, they were like, this young Arsenal team still one of the best attacks around. Blah 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 and stuff like that. So like they weren't writing us off, but it just felt as if the people in my circles and like in college and shit like that, they were like, yeah, Arsenal are gonna get battered, and it was just it's whatever, man. But yeah, I was confident, man.
And rightly so, because
Yeah.
Arsenal came out of that pretty much unscathed.
No, yeah,
And
we gave it to them, man.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. That I remember for
Yeah.
sure. But now on to this trip in 2025, April 2025. You made it out to Madrid, I want to say a day before the game.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how much time you had to circulate with the people, with the locals at the
Yeah.
airport, in the cabs, but what was the atmosphere like in Madrid, related to the game at least?
Um, do you want me to kind of like give you sort of my overview of Madrid, like since the last time I visited, or do you want to like
Oh,
just
no, just answer this specific question. We'll
okay,
get to that. Don't worry about
okay,
it.
cool. Do you know what? Yeah, going so obviously leaving my house, whatever. Right, I'm pretty sure on the train on the train I saw one guy with his son in Arsenal gear, so I knew they were going to the airport at the very least. So as I was getting closer and closer to the airport in London, like I saw more and more Arsenal fans. And then get onto the plane. And I was like, yeah, okay, this is the Arsenal plane basically. Um, yeah. Honestly speaking, just in general, guys, away days. If me and the crew, we're doing one in Europe very soon, guys. Trust me, and you're gonna get the feeling of it. But there's nothing quite like an away day where it's like you're going to war. You're going to a foreign land. You've got your people. You've got your war paint, which is your kit and your pins and shit like that. Like you're going to war and you feel it. Everyone's friendly. Everyone's smiling. Everyone's like, oh, so where you coming from? Oh, how many days off you got? Like conversations are just flowing and stuff like that. So yeah, getting into Madrid was fine. From the plane, basically, I think I forgot the name of the airport. It's Adolfo, something like that. I think. You can see the Bernabeu. So Real Madrid in general they are the club. Do you know what I mean? Like Arsene Wenger said it. That's the club of his dreams and shit like that. The white kits, everything like that. But the fact that when you're flying in from the airport, you can see the stadium. You can't see Atletico Stadium, to my mind, but you can see the Real Madrid Stadium. Lets you know exactly what you're in for. Like you're coming to the Lions Den, straight up and down. So yeah, we get in. I'm seeing kits here. I'm seeing Barcelona kits. To be fair, I'm seeing Real Madrid kits and everything like that. But yeah, we get into our cab, and then nothing really. You can't really tell it's a football city. To be fair, initially you can't tell it's a football city, but
Yeah,
later on in the day,
there's a lot going on in Madrid. There's a
yeah,
lot
there's a
going on.
lot. There's a lot going on with it. But later on in the day, we get a reminder that indeed is a football city for sure. So yeah, that the initial feel, the first few hours in that it was whatever. We got some snacks, we napped, and then we went out into the evening, and that's when we got our awakening, if you like.
Well, so tell me more about the awakening. Was this interacting with locals, or were you meeting up with other Arsenal fans?
So basically, what we did, we went to our first kebab shop of the trip. Basically, that wasn't great. But it was all right. It was possible. We needed food. It is when you're hungry, shit tastes better. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Sometimes at least. But yeah, pardon me. We got into our Uber and then we just went into the city, into the plaza, basically.
Plaza,
And
Plaza Mayor?
yeah, Plaza Mayor, and it was dead empty. It was completely and utterly empty. But before we got there, we walked around a bit, right? And as we're walking around, we're seeing spots of Arsenal fans, and the moment like we see each other, like the Arsenal songs just start, like in my head I keep on repeating and like Michaela Tetezome, like all of that is just like everyone's just singing. You're hearing it in little corners across the streets and shit like that. And then you start seeing more and more like I suppose promo for the game and shit. Like just people just walking around, just like a couple of people spotted around selling scarves. It's still quite late at night, by the way, but they're selling scarves and shit. Um, and yeah, like we eventually walked towards the palace, and then yeah, we pretty much just what's it called? We just retire for the night back to our Airbnb, and we're waiting for one more person to be fair to join us, and they join us the next day. But that was like pretty much day one. But Madrid is like is a nice city, man. Like
Yeah.
Toledo, just not too far outside it, is even better to be for my money. But yeah, I like Madrid a lot, man. It's a good city, man.
Yeah. How did this visit compare to the last one? The last time you were there? When did you go? A couple, what, five,
Um,
6 years ago, was it?
yeah, yeah, it was about yes, it will be 6 years in October. So yeah, I actually went. I didn't know I was going. To be fair, initially, my sister surprised me. And she's like,
I
"Oh yeah,
remember. I remember this.
yeah, exactly." Do you know what? I'm gonna probably let's see if we can get some pictures up for that actually. But yeah, my sister surprised me. She was like, "Oh yeah, do you want to go to Madrid for a few days?" I was like, "Yeah, why the fuck not?" At the time, by the way, Dean, can I be a bit vulnerable?
It's all you. We can always
Um,
cut it out.
no, that's cool. So at the time, right, I wasn't working. But we're still doing a pod heavy. We're still like recording and shit. Like we're doing what we could do with the pod in it. And I wasn't working. And my sister was like, she knew how hard I was like trying to like, obviously find a new job and just like study and shit. And that week I'd actually passed 2 exams as well. So she was so she tried, I thought she would surprise me for that. But basically I hadn't seen my cousin who lives in the States for about 5 years at that point, and his friend was getting married in Toledo, which is about an hour, about a couple of hours, I want to say, outside of Madrid. And I didn't notice at the time, but I was like, "Oh shit, I'm going to Madrid. Let me see if there's a game on." Like, and I found Real Madrid versus Granada. And at the time, the Bernabeu was under its renovation, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I'm sure it was bigger then. I'm sure it was 85,000 back then.
I have no idea of the capacity of the burner
I
bar.
feel like it was,
Just
but
know it's
now,
huge.
yeah, but now it's 78,000. I know that for a fact. So yeah, I got to Toledo and I got another cab back into the city, and then I got a train around. I was just doing tourist shit anyway. And match day on a Saturday or Sunday well, I think it's a Saturday actually in Madrid. You definitely feel it. It's like a carnival. Like it's nice, even with all the construction and shit going around the stadium. People are loving it. It's great. The game finished 4-2. Hazard scored his first goal for Madrid. Maybe his only goal for Madrid. I don't know. Modric scored a banger. We did a live. Do you remember? I'm sure you remember. We did a live.
No, I do. I do. I engage in too many extracurricular activities to remember all the details.
We did a live, and one of my biggest regrets to this day about from this pod is that I didn't archive that live on the Instagram. I wish I did, like, because I caught all of the warm ups and shit like that. It was cool. So yeah, good. Yeah, it was a good time then. And yeah, sunny day and shit. It was just a good time, but it definitely differed like compared to now because it was raining, it was cold. It's a everything's on the line. It's a Champions League game. Real Madrid in the league and Real Madrid in the Champions League. It's completely and utterly. It's almost two different sports, basically.
Pretty much. Same thing with Arsenal when you think
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
it's true.
Ah,
Well, especially this year for sure. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so that's a good segue into the actual stadium slash football, the actual event itself.
yeah,
Bernabeu, this is the first time you've been there since the renovations were done or the remodeling.
yeah,
Can you just, we hear it's the best stadium in the world. Can you just give us a little bit about that?
yeah. So it's definitely not Tottenham Stadium, that's for sure. Because everyone's like, oh, yeah,
Oh, so
Tottenham's the best.
Tottenham's is better?
No, 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 no. As in, no. Everyone's like Tottenham saying it's the best stadium in the world. I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. This is like something out of Dune and Star Wars. Like it's just ridiculous. Like absolutely mental. Just from, I recognize one of the streets from the last time I was on, but the only reason why I recognize it is because of a block of like flats houses that were there across the road. But everything else is completely different. Like just the concourse, everything leading up to it, it's like its own entity slash village, if you like. So yeah, we went to this restaurant across the road, like for brunch just before our stadium tour, and it's literally you can see the stadium right. It's right across the road from the Bernabeu, and it's just imposing. It's like its shadow covers all four corners of the streets that I think that it's on. Basically, it's there. So yeah, we went in for the stadium tour, and I don't want to waste you guys' time too much, but Arsenal need to win more trophies, man. Like, they don't have a trophy room. They have like a trophy exhibition, guys.
Like, I feel like I texted you the exact same thing when I did the stadium tour at Ajax. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
damn, like it's a lot of shiny shit in this motherfucker, man.
yeah,
Like we need more at Arsenal. Like
yeah.
the Arsenal Museum ain't bad, but we could use a couple more
Nah,
trinkets in that motherfucker, man.
it is crazy. Like they got a Super Ballon d'Or in there, bro. What the fuck is a Super Ballon d'Or, bro?
What the fuck is a Super Ballon d'Or?
They gave it to, I think it was Di Stefano. I think like
Okay,
it's
okay.
one of one. Like I ain't never heard that shit before in my life.
Imagine if Di Stefano lost the Ballon d'Or that they invented for him to,
Yeah,
I don't know, fucking, who was old and dead at the
Pushkas.
time. Let's go with that guy.
Yeah,
Well, no, he played for Real Madrid too, so the joke doesn't work anymore. But we move on.
yeah.
How did you get a ticket? Did you get an official one through the club, or how'd that work
Oh, what for the game or for the exhibition?
for the game? For the
Oh,
game.
whew. So the guys I went with, they all had tickets from the club.
Damn.
In the away end.
Just, just not. You were the only one that didn't have one.
Yeah, yes,
Wow.
yeah. So literally, there were so many people that even Elliot, friend of the pod, he was out there as
Yeah.
well. But I think he was in the home. I think he was in the home end, if I remember correctly. I have
No,
to
no.
double check with him.
I saw that he posted pictures on one of the socials, and
Yeah,
he's growing his hair out, so he
yeah.
kind of looked kind of greasy and Spanish. So he probably fit right in with the
No,
homie.
but he was in the Ian Wright kit, so he might have been
Don't
in the
throw
way.
him a joke,
Oh shit!
nigga. I saw the kit. I remember the kit. I'm just hating because he got this long ass hair now. That you didn't
um,
run that by us.
yeah. We actually spoke after the game as well, to be
That's
fair. But
fantastic.
yeah. So I was in the away end, and I got a ticket through some people that we know. Basically, I won't go too far into details. But yeah, I got a ticket from some people that we
Criminal
know.
enterprises.
You're the one that's saying it. I'm not saying shit in it. Put it like this: I'm not flying out to Madrid if I don't have a way of getting into the game. Just know that. Like, you'll never ever see me in another country to watch a football game if I don't have a ticket. That is too far risky for me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sorted it. And funny enough, I wasn't the only Arsenal fan in the home end. Like, there was,
We saw a couple on TV.
yeah, there was just in my block alone. I want to count and say there's at least 15 of us just in my like block of, I don't know, 50 seats if you like.
That's not enough to avoid a lynching if things went pretty bad. But,
Yeah, but there
it's still
was,
comforting to know there's somebody else there to
yeah,
catch some punches for you.
yeah, yeah. But I will say before the game actually started, so like at the tour, we got to like see a bunch of shit in terms of the trophies and stuff like that, and like the kits from like previous years and all that kind of thing.
Oh,
And
all white.
all white, but also like the sign shit as well. Like the kit from last season when they won the Champions League, it was Jude Bellingham's they had on display, and then they had like the media tags from like Vinicius and I think Carlo Ancelotti there as well. But we got to sit at the halfway line. I think it's on our Instagram now anyway, but we sat at the halfway line, and yeah, the moment I saw that, I was like, yeah, this is not the same stadium from 6 years ago. They might as well they could argue and say they built a new stadium. Basically, it is completely different. The roof itself as well is like a technical marvel. Like it just works. Like I don't know how to explain it. It just fucking works, man.
It works. It works like a lid on a pot in which you cook rice.
Yeah, yeah,
But we'll get into that in a little bit.
yeah,
Glad you got a ticket because I was a little worried about that bit of
yeah.
it. I'm glad everything worked out. But
Oh,
what was the
you have to worry
what
about
was
that.
yeah, hey man, you never know, man. You never know. Once in a lifetime, people take crazy risks sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're not as crazy as I am because I will pull up without a ticket and start begging outside the stadium. Anyway, what was the mood like in the stadium? It felt like on TV, it felt like it was super intense.
Yeah.
Then they had that in memoriam section where they did a tribute to, I believe, Leo. I forget his last name. Ben. I think he coached Nigeria ever so
Yeah.
briefly. Anyway, they did that tribute, which I kind of feel like kind of dampened the energy a little bit. But from a Arsenal fan standpoint, how did you experience that moment in person?
So I think we have to go back just a little bit, maybe about 5 minutes before then, right? So they're playing the Madrid anthem, yeah. And let me just let you guys know this. I probably said it in my vlog as well, to be fair, but this is how dictators are created, and this is how they get so many followers. Because I became a Madrid fan for those 5 minutes. Let me be real. Like that anthem is in,
Madrid,
bro,
Madrid,
bro.
Madrid. Like, listen, bro.
Ala
I heard that.
Madrid.
I heard that from the Thursday after the first leg
Yeah,
until honestly yesterday. It was
yeah,
still in my head because
yeah,
I kept thinking to myself, if I don't hear that song during any of the football, things have gone well. If I
yeah,
hear that song, we're
yeah,
finished.
yeah.
So
It is so intense, and it forces you to it forces you to up your energy. Even if you're not feeling it, you have to up your energy. It gets you up basically. And gone.
who made that anthem? MOP.
I don't know, man. It might have been like the same influence, man. Do you know what I mean?
Soldier Boy.
You, it's so intense, like, and you're just there, and your feet, like, you almost understand why these guys are crying at football games and shit, because like you feel it, man. Like,
It's intense, huh?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I gotta experience that someday. I got to. I
we're
got to.
going, bro. We're going. Trust me. So that happened. So that happened, and then the Champions League anthem started, and I felt that even more. Like it feels right having the Champions League anthem in the Bernabeu. It feels like that's where it belongs. You know what I mean? Like,
But they composed it.
yeah, pretty
The
much.
studio
Yeah,
is in the stadium.
yeah. Is it really?
No.
Fair enough. Uh, but yeah, that's where I feel as if it potentially might have went down for them, because you do all of that and everyone's pumped, and then you do the memorial stuff. I know disrespect to them, obviously, like you got
Yeah.
honor the dead and stuff like that, but the energy went basically. But I didn't know that at the time because I wasn't thinking particularly about it. I was just like, no early goals, no early goals, no early goals, no early goals for them at least. Anyway, that's
Right.
all my mind. That's where my mind was going. But the stadium itself and the atmosphere, to me at least, I know it didn't come across that way on TV. Now that I've rewatched most of the game now, but I was nervous and I felt like the Real Madrid fans, they had belief, like they were feeling it. They were like, "Yeah, let's go! Like this is our competition. Let's have a go at it." You know what I mean? And yeah, I wasn't having a good time, to be honest.
Which is crazy because I feel like I'm the one that usually comes into the chat complaining about being nervous, and
Yeah,
you tend to be calmer about things. So, I mean, I have to imagine that if I was there, I would have been vomiting on myself.
yeah,
Would have been
yeah,
bad. Would have been
yeah,
bad. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
Because everyone's so happy. No one's worried, bro. Like, how are you not worried? You're 3-0 down. What the fuck?
that's propaganda as a motherfucker, man.
Yeah,
They had boys scared. They had boys
yeah.
shaky. So I guess let's get into the. I'm just gonna pick out a few moments from the game because I'm
Yeah.
sure for someone that was actually there, you can talk about every minute in detail
Mm.
because like they said on the socials, 90 minutes in the Bernabeu is a long time.
They weren't lying, man. They weren't lying, man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But yeah, the VAR moments, that
Yeah.
first penalty for Arsenal, how
Yeah.
how did that come across for the people in the stadium?
So
When
nobody knew what the fuck he was checking. First of all,
we didn't know what the fuck was checking on
You
TV
know,
either. Like it was
like,
wild.
well, I had no idea what he was checking. I just thought I was trying to like what I could muster from my very bad memory at a football game, because I'm not thinking about shit 2 seconds ago. I was thinking, did they have an action in their box that they're checking? I don't know. I couldn't figure it out, and then all of a sudden, I see the ref turn to their penalty box before he actually gives the pen. And it's like the Arsenal fans already knew and they're going nuts already. So I feel relief, but I have to kind of hold back my happiness kind of thing and be like, I flail my arms a little bit like, what's all this, whatever.
Madrid,
Exactly.
Madrid, calm down.
Like it was, yeah, that was a very, very, very long time in my mind, but I know it only took like less than a minute. So
The VAR check.
yeah, for the first pen, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. It was the length between the incident and
Hmm.
them actually stopping the game that felt a little long in
Yeah,
retrospect, but the actual check was very efficient.
yeah.
And when Bukayo stepped up and did what he did, what was the area like around you?
Everyone was going nuts, and I'm all there just putting my phone back away because I was recording it. I couldn't give a shit. I was actually recording it, and that recording we don't need to see it because we see, like, we've got the official ones now. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It would have been nice if he scored, but thank you, Bogayo, for fucking that up. But yeah, the moment he missed, I just sat back in my seat like, yeah, whatever in it. Like,
like,
yeah,
like
I had nothing after that. I had nothing. I had no more energy to give. Like, I started to feel. I'm telling you, I had that first half was just horrible, man.
yeah,
Like,
it was pretty intense. It was
yeah,
just a tense
yeah,
back and forth between two quality teams.
mm,
One just happens to be a much better team than the other.
mm.
On the other end, there was a penalty that went against Arsenal.
I don't want to talk about it, please. Don't make me do this.
That's the whole reason why you're here. You have to
Oh,
talk about it. Hey, it worked out in the end. Come on, don't be a coward. Let's get to it.
oh, let me tell you, yeah, I've never seen a second last as long in that time. That for some reason it was the seconds were taking hours. Like I was like, what? I tell you, okay, let me be frank. Let me really, really honest here. The moment he called for it, yeah, I was like, oh shit, we're fucked basically. And I was thinking about Declan Rice's yellow card. I was like, fuck. Not now, not him. You know what I mean? Like, and then I think after like 2 minutes, that's when I started having a good feeling. Because like, if they're taking this long, that means they're not convinced, and that means they probably think they want to do something about it, basically. So after about the 2 minute mark, I was like, okay, I'm a bit more relaxed now. I'm legit a bit more relaxed. I just need the ref to. I need them to call the ref over, basically. Once I call the ref over, then I think we're okay. Like I legit think we're okay. So I was a little bit more relaxed, but it took so damn long, like ridiculously long. And when I actually saw the incident back properly, I was like, what?
It
Like, the
was
fuck?
It was
You know,
long everywhere. It was
yeah.
at least 5 minutes, which is a long time to wait
Well, they
in
added
multiple
7 minutes at the end of the half, so I think that was the majority of that was from there. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like you're almost worried for the players at one point. Like,
yeah,
did they need to like start warming up again? This
yep,
is
yep,
taking forever.
yep, yep,
But again, that was a good sign. At
mm,
least in the Champions League. In the Premier League,
yeah,
different story.
yeah,
Them taking long or taking short would not change how paranoid I was about what the ref was about to do or not do.
yeah.
But I'm glad we were in Europe. Were there any? I guess you were there. I mean, we probably have a better vantage view at home on TV,
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know, but you get to see the whole field.
yeah.
Was there anything from a tactical standpoint that sort of stood out to you? The way you look at one team facing the other team, and one team is clearly more compact, and the other one is like, I see why you guys suck. Like, what stood out to you just being there?
So the first thing was that they didn't respect off our right hand side as much as Bayern Munich did last year. And I get why they didn't. It's because they're going for goals, like they have to in it. But we had so much joy down their left, basically. Like it was very easy. Normally teams make us work to get the ball to Saka. It was just very easy for us to get the ball to Saka time and time again. It was easy for us to get the ball to Odegaard time and time again. And I think that gap, that space there was obviously vacated because Valverde is obviously trying to influence the game higher up the pitch. Vinicius is attrition.
Vinicius.
Yeah, he's an attritional player that does all his best work wearing down defenses high up. He's not going to really help his fullback
Yeah.
too much. So it was very very easy down that side. Secondly, I want to say that Declan Rice needs his flowers because they're a quality side, Real Madrid, and whatever gaps they thought they saw, Declan Rice was like, "I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it, but only for like half a second because I'm gonna plug it in a second, basically." Like,
I'll let you see it,
yeah,
but you can't have it.
you can't have it basically. Like how boxers like they'll get their range, they'll put their fist up for the like. That's essentially what Rice was just finding his range there, basically, just making sure that that's there, but I can probably get to it. So they tried, but he hoovered it all up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Declan Rice's performance over both legs sort of illustrates one of the truisms of the sport that we all tend to ignore
Mm.
because none of us really grew up dreaming about off the ball work.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about Declan Rice is that, or every player really, is that most of the 90 minutes you don't have the ball.
Exactly.
So what do you do off the ball?
Mm-hmm.
If a player is elite off the ball,
Mm-hmm.
that player is probably just elite. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because Jude, on the other hand, is elite on the ball. There's very few things Jude can't do on the ball, but all I really saw in this tie was belligerence, which was
Yeah.
kind of disappointing. I mean, I've always known that about him. They complained about him at Dortmund back in the day, and he's still a young man, so I'm not going to hold it against him too crazy. But it was really interesting to see the difference between those two premier midfielders in the tie. But enough from me. You were in the away end,
Home end.
home end.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, but I guess you could still hear the away end, correct?
Yeah. There were okay. So here's the thing, right? Now that I'm looking back at, and even just on the day, I'm more and more. I've sat in Arsenal weigh-ins before, like countless times to be fair, and it just seems to me like the other day seemed to be like probably might have been one of our best performances, maybe our best. It was
Bro.
rocking.
I could hear them the
Yeah.
whole game. The
It
whole
was
game was creeping through.
insane.
Except for moments where Real Madrid looked like they were going to do something,
Yeah.
I could hear our fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one of the chants did you enjoy the most? Rank your top 3 chants from the night.
The Saka chant for sure. Mikel Arteta's army, we're Arsenal through and through. That one blared up quite a bit as well, actually.
That's my personal favorite, actually.
Yeah. And I want to say probably the new Gabby chant, the new Gabby Martinelli chant as well.
Okay.
Like that was good.
Sao Paulo joint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun
Yeah.
times. I swear I heard even Big Gabby's chant at one
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
Very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
briefly, they, just shouted him out, which was really nice to hear.
There was the obviously the Declan Rice chant as well.
What is the Declan Rice chant?
We got him half price. We got him half price. Declan Rice. We got him half price. And there's even like in Plaza Mayor, like there was a bunch of pubs that Arsenal fans took over, and like he had like his tifo, like his mini tifo, like flying around. I had an Arteta one there as well. Had a Hale End one there as well in the bruised banana. I've got all the pictures are there, man. I'll
Love
probably
that.
fling them up.
Love
Yeah.
that. Love
So
that. Love that. So during your instant reaction
yeah.
or your slightly delayed reaction from
Yeah.
the kebab shop, you mentioned the hope, and you
Yeah.
mentioned it again earlier during this recording,
Yeah.
the hope that the Real Madrid fans had in the stadium. Like,
Yeah.
at what point, to your observation or to your memory, did that hope start dissipating?
It was when they didn't get the penalty, and it affected the players. It affected the players 100%. When they didn't get the penalty, like you could see them like huffing and puffing. Like the fans around me as well. There's a guy there with his missus. Like he just kept on shaking his head. Like the woman next to me with her child, her young child, again, she was just shaking her head as well. Like the energy just kind of went, and it felt like it was sucked up into a vacuum all the way to the top right hand corner where the Arsenal fans were. Like that's when I think it went for the fans, for sure. Yeah.
I thought it was a really interesting observation because, like, I think every like you said very eloquently, what you want as a fan is to be in these moments where you have a chance.
Exactly.
But to hear you talk about how hopeful they were from
Yeah.
3-0 down, like, bro, not only do I want to feel like I have a chance, I want that delusion someday. I
Yeah.
want I
Yeah.
want to be an Arsenal fan that's just like, yeah, we should totally win that. With
Yeah.
3-0, that would be a good place to be someday. I would love to be an
Exactly.
entitled jackass.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it's important that we as a fan base, but also how the world sees us. And I rarely care how the world sees us in these most of the time, but how the world sees us now is that essentially everyone values the Champions League over everything, and now Arsenal have a moment in the modern era that people can refer to and say that's Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very, very important for us. It's seriously, seriously, seriously important for us. I mean, even just when we I know I'm probably skipping ahead, but when we left the stadium, like there was about five of us, and this little he must have been like 15, 16 years old, but it was definitely at the game. He was walking towards us, and he's like, "Oh, congratulations, congratulations!" In his little Spanish accent, kind of thing. Shit like that matters. Like to me, it matters, you know. So yeah.
Oh man, that is delightful. It's on par with the Henry moment 19
Yeah.
years ago, or going invincible. Like these
Yeah.
these are the moments they stand out. And it's not flattering to Arsenal for us to say this. It's
Yeah,
just
of
a
course.
fact. It's just a fact of the situation. Like this is why we want to play these games. So we can create these moments that sustain the culture of the club, that sustain the reputation of the club. So I'm really proud of the guys, proud of the manager, proud of the club for coming through this. And this wasn't like a jammy win across two legs. It was
No.
complete domination for
No.
180 minutes. Besides
Yeah.
Saliba, just being like, "Hey, do not buy me,"
Basically.
because that's how I'm choosing to interpret that. Like, because that's the shame. But that moment though, when Vinicius robbed him and scored, what was the emotion like? Were you
It,
panicked? Because it was pretty late in the game,
it was literally a minute after Saka scored, basically.
right?
So
Which sucked so
yeah.
bad.
But yeah, they got right back up again, and then we won the ball back, and that was the end of the game, pretty much. so, so yeah, I don't think they had another chance after that, if I remember correctly. I don't think they did.
I think there was a shot from Brahim Diaz. Endrick had another wild shot as
Oh
well,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
it
yeah,
pretty much.
yeah, pretty
But
much, yeah,
before we get out of here, we definitely got to talk about the Arsenal goals
yeah.
and sort of your reaction and I guess the general energy in the stadium. Like when that Saka goal went in.
It was
First off, I know what your first thought was. You didn't even have to share that with people. You were like, man, Dean was totally right about Marino. You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. I know. But what was your second thought?
um. First of all, I was worried it was offside because in my head I was like, that's a shit line. Like from the angle you guys probably saw from like the Instagram and shit, like where I was sitting.
It's
I
a
was
good
thinking,
scene.
yeah, but I was like, oh, okay, cool. But they did do a quick check if I remember correctly as well. But they did a check for the flick on from Marino at the beginning, right? So
Right.
that was close. That could have, to me, that was very close to my mind
It
at least.
was. It was.
But after that, I was just like, yeah, this boy is him. Like, forget all the emotion. I was thinking about Saka and what it means for us in general to have him. I was like, you miss a penalty in such a shitty fashion, basically. Let's call it what it is. It was a very, very just badly executed penalty. But then you do that afterwards. You're Michael Jordan to me. Like that's some psychopath shit. Like to do it in that fashion kind of thing, and then to shush the fans and shit, and then to do your new iconic celebration, which is the shrug and like I'm him basically. It just felt it was just perfect, man. it was almost a perfect football moment, genuinely.
Pretty much. Like the only thing that ruined it was the fact that we let them score a minute later.
Yeah,
I can even get like the camera love and all that stuff
nah,
that happens after a player scores a goal because
yeah,
Vinicius ruined it.
yeah,
But it's all good. The moment where they equalized,
yeah,
they were hopeful again. But when by the time Martinelli got the second,
yeah.
all hope had drained. I'm sure people were actually leaving the stadium, and I'm sure the
Oh yeah,
Arsenal.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. But by around, I want to say 80 minutes. Um, they started flooding. I even tweeted saying there's a fire drill on the home end, which is what you do. You give it a bit of stick. But yeah, even then, let me be frank, right? At 78 minutes, I remember because I looked at the clock. Then I was like, that's still too much time. They were still a little bit worried. I was still a little bit worried. Let me be honest. I was like, that's still way too much time for my liking, kind of thing. But I calmed. But to be honest, I was way calmer. But yeah, like their energy had went. First of all, that was the main thing. The Real Madrid players' energy had went, which was very important. But yeah, the fans started flooding out, but they weren't flooding out. And like usually, when fans leave, and I want to refer to West Ham fans, they start throwing shit because they're animals, innit? Like they
Right.
start throwing shit, they start cussing and shit. These fans just went about their day, which is it's good. You win some, you lose some. And that was pretty much the feeling, right up until full time. Like they had lost hope, but they were still quite respectful. They cheered their team and shit. And yeah, Martinelli went and did what he done, man. Which is just, I'm so pleased for Martinelli, man. Genuinely, man. Like so fucking pleased for him, man.
This is how you
Unreal.
get an extra like 100 grand on every contract you sign for the rest of your life
Yeah,
based off a moment like that. Like
yeah,
people who don't, people who know for a fact in their minds that Vinicius is better are
yeah,
probably. I'm talking about Brazilians out there. Probably
yeah.
like, why don't we play this guy? He did
Exactly,
more than Vinicius did in the tie. We should just play him. He nutmegged Endrick.
exactly, exactly.
Like, and those are the moments you want your players to have.
Yeah.
This was a question specifically for me. All the other questions I've asked were
Mm,
basically for the listeners, but this is
mm.
specifically for me. Why did you not record in the stadium when you did your instant reaction? Was it
So,
because you weren't at the home end? I mean, the
so
away end rather.
yeah, I wasn't in the way, and that was the main thing. But also, what I really wanted to do, it didn't work out that way because the plaza was like pretty much not full. Like it was just like everyone went about their business to like different parts of that. I wanted to record the reaction back at the plaza because earlier in the day it was jumping, it was buzzing, it was like Frimpong, the Arsenal social media guy, he was there like doing shit. Like we saw him a few times. Charles White was there. Like so many like it was just full of us. I thought like, well, full time, everyone's gonna be back there buzzing. It'll be good to get into reaction there amongst everyone, kind of thing. So yeah, I didn't do it. That's pretty much the main reason why I didn't do it. But yeah, I still got quite a bit of video footage. I think in this, I got the whole Madrid song. I got the whole sort of Champions League anthem and shit. That was cool. But yeah, I know for next time definitely, especially if I'm in a away end kind of thing, I'll just do it there, no problem. I
That's
think.
that's that's where it should be done. I'm
Yeah,
still fuming, despite my face. I'm still fuming. I was like, I wanted the Bernabeu in the background. What is all this? Fuck! I didn't even know it was a kebab shop because it looked like a chicken shop to me. So, in any event, thank you for sharing your experience with us. We really appreciate it. Before we get out of here, is there anything else you wanted to say?
Um, anyone that's thinking about traveling to a game, kind of thing, whether you live in England, Europe, America, shit like that, um, always, I'm genuinely serious about this. Always just look at your, um, I do this myself personally. But always look at your sort of your not escape plan, but like your routes, what you plan to do in those like the day leading up to the game, and like obviously after the game as well, because you will have a lull. And fortunately for us, like I love to nap, so I just napped quite a bit basically, especially on the first day because we got there quite early. But always have something planned out. Luckily for us, we had the stadium tour planned on the day of the match, shit like that. But always just try and figure some shit out. Go see the city and shit like that. Go walk around. Madrid, for example, is a very walkable city. Genuinely, it's great. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, that's yeah. Always try to plan to do other shit apart from the game itself. I think I'd say. So yeah.
All right. I don't think that was useful at all because I do not believe in travel. I think it's bullshit. We are killing the environment. You know how much fucking CO2 be coming out them plain booty holes? A lot. A lot. But it's okay. If you're chasing the Arsenal around the planet, it's okay. Any other reason, I'm not having it. But again, coach, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the experience as we enjoyed the experience from home. And hopefully we get to do many more nights like this as Arsenal fans.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And on that note, I'm going to say peace and hala Arsenal.
Arsenal, Arsenal.
Arsenal, Arsenal.
Peace.
Hey folks, this is Dean from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.